Like most people,
When I was a wee lad,
I watched a lot of TV, and I grew up in the 2010s, which had a lot of weird kid shows. And not every show can be a hit, leading to weird shows you might have forgotten about. The rules are they have to be kid shows, they have to be weird, they have to be at least somewhat forgotten, and they have to have aired from the mid-2000s to the early 2010s. With that out of the way, let's get started.
Let me tell you about Bernstein.
Crash and Bernstein is a true masterpiece. With its amazing story, deep political and social satire, hilarious comedy, beautiful animation, and complex characters, it truly deserves to be regarded as one of the best animes of all time. Up there with Corey in the House and Drake and Josh, and it is a shame that it only lasted 2 seasons.
Down upside! Sorry. The Upside Down Show!
In all seriousness, Crash and Bernstein is about Wyatt Bernstein, a boy who lives with his 3 sisters and his mum. On his 12th birthday, his family takes him to build a bestie, where you make dolls, which are for girls. Tired of living with 4 girls, Bernstein creates his own doll that he can do
manly stuff with, cause he's a man.
Yeah, there's a lot of gender stereotyping early on, which is no better reflected than in the theme song.
No makeup or feelings, they parties or dolls. Now it's ninjas and football and baseball.
But much to his surprise, Crash is alive. Yeah, what he said. How is he alive? They never really explain. Are build day besties usually alive? I mean, that explains why no one else seems to find it that weird that Crash is alive. But at the same time, how come the Bernsteins don't know about this? And we see other build day besties and they're not alive, so is Crash possessed by a ghost or demon? I mean, that would explain why he's such a menace. But hey, who cares, cause now it means they can go on epic adventures together. Early on, the comedy was pretty hit or miss, ranging from better than you'd expect from a Disney sitcom to just as awful as you'd expect from a Disney sitcom.
I don't have time to deal with an annoying purple thing.
It's all
And like I said, there's a lot of gender stereotyping early on, though thankfully it's phased out pretty quickly. This show's at its best when it's weird. A lot of the best jokes come from Crash himself. Him being the puppet isn't just a gimmick. They use it to do a lot of physical comedy and absurdist humor they wouldn't normally be able to do on one of these sitcoms.
Bernstein, I just had the craziest dream.
So yeah, it was pretty mediocre at the start, but as it went on, I started unironically liking it. The comedy got a lot more consistently funny, and they went all in on the absurdity. The creator, Eric Friedman, was a staff writer on Drake and Josh, one of Nick's best sitcoms, and it shows. It's got a pretty similar sense of humor. As for characters, Crash is an absolute sociopath and danger to society. One of my favorite episodes is Crash EMCSMARDYPANTS, where Crash is mistaken for a genius, so people start taking his stupid advice, basically forming a cult around him. This obviously leads to chaos.
Author of the best-selling book, Don't Think.
So basic, so profound.
Like I said, he gives a lot of the best jokes and Tim Lagasse does an amazing job puppeteering him. In contrast, Bernstein is a lot more sensible and down to earth. You honestly have to wonder why he chooses to keep Crash around when he causes nothing but trouble. His sarcasm can be pretty funny, and I credit it to Cole Jensen's delivery. He's not a bad actor.
Uh-oh, this could be bad for you.
What?
Do both your feet point forward?
Oh, yes!
Do you have ears on both sides of your head?
I do!
Are you worried that everything around you could make you sick?
Worried sick!
Well, I hate to tell you, but I'm afraid you have an incurable case of absolutely nothing.
The side characters are pretty annoying though, and since most of the subplots center around them, most of the subplots aren't very good. There's Amanda, Bernstein's bratty older sister. Cleo, Bernstein's bratty younger sister. Jasmine, Bernstein's bratty even younger sister. Pesto, a butt monkey who's more annoying than he is funny. He also has a crush on Amanda which she takes advantage of. Kinda creepy considering he's 12 and she's 16.
Bad touch! Bad touch! Stranger danger!
The mom's just kind of a mom. And there's Mr. Police, the landlord of the Bernstein's apartment building who has a short temper. He's really funny. So, in the end, Crash and Bernstein ended up being actually pretty good. And I'm actually kind of sad it didn't last longer. It didn't even get a proper finale. It looks like the show was cancelled halfway through season 2. But the main thing I want you to take away from this segment and this entire video is how come there aren't more memes of this show. Seriously, this show's obscurity combined with its absurdity seem like it would make it perfect for memes, yet very few people seem to have seen its potential. Spread the hash more Crash and Bernstein memes. It never hurts to help. I mean, look, even Jesus Christ himself approves of this show.
Crash and Bernstein, Crash and Bernstein, Crash and Bernstein. What he said.
Down upside! Sorry. The Upside Down Show!
The Upside Down Show is about brothers Shane and David who live in an apartment with doors that led to many strange rooms, and in each episode go around their house looking for places like the movie theater or barber shop. They also have an imaginary remote that controls the characters and the world around them. I found this show hilarious as a wee one, and I'm happy to say it still holds up. The comedy primarily consists of slapstick and absurdist humor, but what really makes it stand out is its use of miming and vocal sound effects, with a majority of the props being imaginary and sound effects being produced by human mouths. David has also said that a lot of it was improv, and you can tell, in a good way, the brothers have amazing chemistry. They even slipped in a few adult jokes.
We can sleep standing up. Oh, of course. Horses do it. Oh, they sleep standing up? Yeah. Yes.
Yes, they actually made a joke about horse sex in a preschool show.
You know, for kids!
While making the show, the writers wanted to make a show that could be enjoyed by kids and their parents, and it shows. The imaginary remote is a creative way of incorporating audience participation, and there's also a lot of creativity with all the different weird rooms. As a wee lad, I really just wanted to explore their apartment, but looking back, living there would actually be a nightmare. You'd basically be trapped in your own home. The show stars brothers Shane and David, portrayed by Australian comedy duo the Umbilical Brothers, who also co-created the show. David is generally the more laid-back of the duo, while Shane is the more energetic and hyperactive one. The side characters include Mrs. Foyle, the brothers' neighbor who's shown with many different jobs throughout the show. Whoa, that's weird. I didn't remember her being this big puppet. Shane and David's roommate and best friend who is generally more rational than them. And he's also my senpai, the Schmutzies, a species of small, colorful, fuzzy creatures who speak Schmutzish. Shane is usually annoyed by them and sees them as pests, while David is friends with them and speaks their language fluently. The voice, a disembodied voice that I'm just gonna assume is God, that tells Shane and David what to do. The action fingers, Knuckles and Pointy, a pair of superheroes portrayed by Shane and David's fingers. And Fido the Fly, Shane's imaginary pet fly. Despite good reviews from critics and having the support of Nickelodeon Australia who wanted to continue it, Nickelodeon USA did, and because Nickelodeon is an American company, the show was sadly cancelled after only one season of 13 episodes. For years, Shane and David were trying to make a movie that would act as a proper finale. A full script was written, and it had the support of Nickelodeon Australia, but at this point, I think it's safe to say it was cancelled due to a lack of funding. While I'm not sure what an Upside Down show movie would be like, if Shane and David really want to make it, then I think there's potential. The sad truth is though, as much as I'd love to see any kind of continuation of the show, whether it be the Upside Down movie or a full-on reboot of the show, unless Nickelodeon USA sees a demand for it, it's likely never gonna happen. I guess I should also mention that there's a Lost in Nerd pilot of the show that was only ever publicly shown at the MIPTV Media Market in France. It would later be remade into the final series episode, Beach, with differences including that to create the upside down effect, instead of simply turning the camera around, the show's art department glued the entire living room set to the ceiling, which proved to be too time-consuming. Puppet had a much different design and was named Stretch, and Shane and David wore different costumes. The only other thing I have to say is, watch this show. The entire series is on YouTube. Watch it. Gabba Gabba is the result of two hipsters getting high while watching Playhouse Disney and thinking, man, this Woodall's crap is totally lame, we should make our own kids show. It'd have puppets, and video games, and punk rock. Totally righteous. Bro, I know. That's only slightly exaggerated. Gabba Gabba is about DJ Lance, the god of the realm known as Gabbaland. In each episode he says the ancient incantation, and using his black magic brings his toys to life. His toys consist of Nuno, a red cyclops with acne, Fufa, a pink flower bubble Brobby, a furry green monster, 2D, a blue cat dragon, and Plex, a robot. It premiered on August 20th, 2007, and would continue to entertain toddlers and hipsters alike until it ended on November 12th, 2015. It was even popular amongst college kids, which according to Wikipedia is because of the artists featured on the show. Though I have another theory, I was obsessed with this show as a wee one, and I mean, I get why, cause there were colors, and noises, and things moving, but season 1 was really hard to get through. Mostly because of the voice acting. The characters have some of the most godawful voices ever put on television, which is bad when they are constantly singing. The songs were also really bad. The idea of a kids show having a punk rock soundtrack already sounds really stupid, but the lyrics are so repetitive and dumb. They also have suicidal food.
Please, kill us!
Over time, I think the show improved though. The voices got better, though I'm not sure if that was because the voice acting genuinely got better or if it's just cause I got used to them after watching every episode. Probably the latter. The episodes also got more elaborate, and while the lyrics were still cheesy, the songs got pretty catchy with good instrumentation. One aspect of the music that stayed consistently good throughout the entire show were the guest songs, whether they be the jingles or the Super Music Friend shows. These were made by guest performers, usually indie artists, which I think is pretty cool. One of the bands that appeared on the show was My Chemical Romance, who according to DJ Lance were actually really excited to be on the show. I guess it's also worth noting the large number of guest stars who appeared on the show, most of which actually volunteered to be on the show. They usually weren't A-listers, but still recognizable names like Weird Al, Jack Black, Jason Bateman, Leslie Hall, the Body Rolls Lady, and Andy Samberg. The show also had many recurring segments like jingles, animated music videos featuring songs by guest performers, and all done in different animation styles, some better than others, but one thing that was consistent is that the songs were usually good. Mark's Magic Pictures, Drawing Lessons with Mark Mothersbaugh, Chris's Beat of the Day, Beatboxing Lessons with Bismarcky, The Super Music Friends Show, live action music videos featuring songs by musical guests and introduced by John Reese, Pocket the Swami. Like I said, these were usually really good. Dancey Dance Time, a segment where celebrity guests teach the characters a new dance. Numbers, segments counting numbers up or down. Cool Tricks, a segment where a kid or adult demonstrates a special talent. These were usually pretty cool. Storytime, a segment where a kid narrates a story. Like the jingles, these were all done in different animation styles, some better than others. Super Martian Robot Girl, an animated comic book done in super cheap flash animation. The voice acting in these was also pretty priceless.
Oh,
that is so refreshing.
Learn with Plex, a segment where Plex teaches the kids at home basic skills like brushing your teeth or putting on pajamas. Play pretend with Nuno, a segment where Nuno plays charades with the kids at home. Listen with Teddy, a segment where Teddy listens to sounds and the kids at home have to guess what it is. Color with Robbie, a segment where the kids at home have to guess what color Robbie is thinking of. Play games with Fufa, a segment where Fufa plays games with the kids at home. DJ Lance Dance, a segment where DJ Lance teaches the kids at home a new dance. Funny Faces, a segment where DJ Lance encourages the kids at home to make funny faces. Not Joke of the Day, Not Jokes with Jack McBrayer and Paul Shear. And Look Back at a Day, a music video featuring the remix of all the episode's songs. Between segments, there would be clips of kids dancing, kids riding on whatever the heck that is, and 8-bit animation. The show had 2 nerd pilots, short story, and play. Both of these were lost for a long time, but recently the first one was found. It featured different costumes, most noticeable being Fufa, but almost all of the segments would later be reused on the final show to some degree. I wouldn't recommend this show as highly as the other shows I talked about in this video, since if you're older than 6 you probably won't get as much out of it as those other shows, but if you're feeling nostalgic, yeah, I'd recommend a couple episodes. They're all on YouTube for free, so it's not like it'll cost you anything. If I had to recommend episodes, I'd say the episodes with Jack Black and Weird Alabama. Those are definitely highlights. Woo. Well, that was longer than I expected, and there were so many more shows I wanted to talk about. This was quite different from my other videos, so if you liked it, please like, subscribe, and all that other stuff. And if you have some other weird old forgotten shows you'd like to see me talk about in a possible sequel to this video, leave them in the comments below. Anyways, in the cartoon Koala, and see you in the next video.